Persistence. How long should you persist in the feeling of your wish fulfilled until you just let it go and let it come to you? How long? How much do you persist? And that's what we're going to get into in this chapter. This is chapter 22 out of The Power of Awareness by Neville Goddard. Persistence. And the first thing Neville Goddard covers here is out of Luke, chapter 11, 5 verses 9. And then he translates this. He's saying that this Bible verse right here out of Luke, or this chapter and these verses, can be correlated to the symbolic nature of persistence. So we're going to break this down, and I'm also going to give you my own breakdown from Neville Goddard, so that way we can actually understand it and give you my own perspective of that to help you understand persistence and how long you need to persist in your imaginal acts. So let's go ahead and break this down. This is, and he said unto them, which of you shall have a friend, and shall go unto him at midnight, and say unto him, Friend, lend me 3 loaves, for a friend of mine is in his journey is to come to me, and I have nothing to set before him. Question. And he said, From within shall answer and say, Trouble me not, the door is now shut, and my children are with me in bed. I cannot rise and give thee. I say unto you, though he will not rise and give him, because he is his friend, yet because of his importunity he will rise and give him as many as he needeth. And I say unto you, Ask, and it shall be given to you. Seek, and ye shall find. Knock, and it shall be opened unto you. Luke 11, 5, 9. Excuse me. This is where Neville Goddard breaks down these 3 principles. Okay, so there are 3 principal characters in this quotation, you and the 2 friends mentioned. Okay, so the first friend is a desired state of consciousness. The first friend is a desired state of consciousness. The second friend is a desire seeking fulfillment. 3 is the symbol of wholeness and completion, that your manifestation is now complete. Okay, so the loaves symbolize substance. The door shut symbolizes the sense which separate the seen from the unseen. And children in bed means ideas that are dormant. Inability to rise means a desired state of consciousness cannot rise to you. You must rise to it. Importunity means demanding persistency, a kind of brazen impudence. Okay, so ask, seek, and knock means assuming the consciousness of already having what you desire. Thus, the scriptures tell you that you must persist in rising or assuming to the consciousness of your wish already being fulfilled. The promise is definite that if you are shameless in your impudence, in assuming that you already have that which your senses deny, it shall be given to you, or shall be given unto you. Your desire shall be attained. Okay, so the Bible teaches the necessity of persistence by the use of many stories. When Jacob sought a blessing from the angel with whom he wrestled, he said, I will not let thee go, except thou bless me. Genesis 32:26. Okay. When the Shunammite sought the help of Elisha, she said, As the Lord liveth, and as thy soul liveth, I will not leave thee. And he arose and followed her. Kings 4:30. The same idea is expressed in another passage. And he spake a parable unto them, that men ought always to pray and not to faint, saying, There was in a city a judge which feared not God, neither regarded man, and there was a widow in that city. And she came unto him, saying, Avenge me mine adversary. And he would not for a while, but afterward he said within himself, Though I fear not God, nor regard man, yet because this widow troubleth me, I will avenge her, lest she weary me by her continual coming. Luke 18:1-5. Okay, so the basic truth underlying each of these stories is that desire springs from the awareness of ultimate attainment, and that persistence in maintaining the consciousness of the desire already being fulfilled results in its fulfillment. It is not enough to feel yourself into the state of the answered prayer. You must persist in that state. So what he's saying here, he gets into a little bit more of this, but I want to break this down right as we're getting into this. Okay, the natural state of your being, of your concept of self, will transition into that new world when you transfer parallel realities. And it will be a natural state to you once you have changed your concept of yourself. It'll be natural. It'll feel natural to you to be in that state. It'll no longer be a wanting or a desire for the thing. Once you're ready for it, in that natural state of having all this money or whatever you're trying to manifest, it'll be a natural state in that new world that you're in, whatever world you transfer to. When you're falling asleep, persisting in this new feeling, then you're going to have it. Okay. So however long that takes, you persist in it until you're in that world. And then you'll know once you're in a natural state of it, like things are coming to you, things are lining up. And also you can do this through meditation and figure this out if your inner dialogue is matching up with your imagination. Like if you go into meditation, you see where your thoughts are going, and you can see where they're headed, and what they're lining up with. And then you'll know whether your manifestation's coming or whether you're in the right world at that point, or you're moving there, like you're already programmed for it. And it's like in a natural state of it coming to you. Like you're going to that world, like you have impressed the subconscious mind with the feeling of it happening. And a lot of this comes back to, because you really only have to impress the subconscious mind one time with your wish as having whatever you want in this world or in this parallel reality. Okay, so all you have to do is one time. All you have to do is impress the subconscious one time, but it has to be a complete 100% feeling that you already have it. You have to feel the realness of absolutely having this new thing. And once you do that one time, then you have it. But if you persist in it, like if you get it, say you got it the first time you imagine something, you fall asleep with it, you have a 10% belief that it's done. Okay, the second night's 20%, then 40%, then 50, then 60, then 70. Eventually, if you keep persisting in it, persisting night after night, affirming, scripting, falling asleep to my meditations, imagining, visualizing, mentally rehearsing, creating the feeling that you now have this, you're building that naturalness up, the 100% belief that it's already done. And by the time you land it, that 100%, you're going to have it. You're going to have it, but you have to persist in it until you do get that 100% belief, and then you impress the subconscious mind. Then you shift to that world, the corresponding world to your wish as being already fulfilled. And then you'll feel the naturalness of it, the absolute naturalness of it. But you must persist to build that 100% belief. So keep doing it. Repetition, keep going, keep affirming, keep scripting, keep visualizing, keep falling asleep to my meditations, keep doing it until it happens, until you get it. Okay, so that's what these Bible verses are saying here, and this is what Neville Goddard's getting into. It is not enough to feel yourself into the state of your answered prayer. You must persist in that state. Okay, so that's essentially what he's saying. That is the reason for the injunction. Okay, so man ought always to pray and not to faint. Luke 18:1. Okay, so here to pray means to give thanks for already having what you desire, which I believe is absolutely incredible way to manifest. Is to give thanks. And that's what prayer is. You're giving thanks for already having it. You're not asking. A lot of times people go into prayer and they, please God, give this to me. You don't do that. You thank God for giving that you already have it. You're thanking God for already giving it to you. And that's the difference between success and failure, is asking and then affirming, I am. It's the present moment. You're in the fourth dimension. You're saying I am, because the future is now, the past is now, you already have. You don't say I will be something. You said I am something, because then you're in the present moment, assuming a feeling of the wish fulfilled right now. Okay, so that's what he means by man ought always to pray and not to faint. Okay, here to pray means to give thanks for always or already having what you desire. Only persistency in the assumption of the wish fulfilled can cause those subtle changes in your mind which result in the desired change in your life. It matters not whether they be angels, Alicia, or reluctant judges. All must respond in harmony with your persistent assumption. All must respond congruently with your persistent assumption. When it appears that people other than yourself in your world do not act towards you as you would like, it is not due to the reluctance on their part, but lack of persistence in your assumption of your life being as you want it to be. This goes back to a lot of the previous videos I've made right here, guys. This is what he's talking about. Neville Goddard hit on this. He knew about it, and that's what he wrote about. It's exactly 100% true. When it appears that people other than yourself in your world do not act towards you as you would like, it is not due to any part on them, no part at all. but a lack of persistence in your assumption of your life already being as you want it to be. Changing your concept of self, your being, because you're writing, directing, and producing your world today, yesterday. You've already wrote the script. You wrote the script today. You wrote the script for me producing this video to tell you this. You produced this yesterday. You wrote the script for me. And now I'm producing it in your world to you, because you have scripted this. Okay, so if anything in your world is not the way you want it to be, you don't point the finger at them. You change the script today for tomorrow. You rewrite it by changing your concept of self and persisting in your assumption of your life already being as you want it to be. All right, so that's a big one here, guys. We're going over this because persistence and reiteration of this is very important. Your assumption to be effective cannot be a single isolated act. It must be a maintained attitude of the wish fulfilled. I believe sometimes I have done this myself where I have landed it the first night, where I've actually created something the first night. So I believe that it can be a single isolated act. You just have to get to that 100% belief and create it and make it real. Then impress the subconscious mind with it. But if you're trying to do something that's way, it's really a far fetch, or it's a far grasp from your current concept of yourself. Like you're making $30,000 a year right now, and you want to be making $300,000 a month. Okay, that may take some persistence on your part. You may not be able to do that the first night, the one time, but you can do it. Just persist in that. Persist in it night after night until it happens. Okay, and it will. Maintain attitude of the wish fulfilled. All right, so, and that maintain attitude that gets you there so that you think from your wish fulfilled instead of thinking about your wish. Thinking from your wish fulfilled instead of thinking about it. Okay, so is aided by assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled frequently. Okay, so so what he's saying here is this builds like the difference between thinking of something, like thinking of your wish fulfilled, and thinking from it. And this helps with your persistence in imagining it. The frequent nature of your persistence is going to make that, it's going to create a feeling from it more. So the first few times you're doing it, you're thinking of it. But as you persist, you start to think from it. Now you're thinking from it. Now you're inside the movie creating it, and changing your concept of yourself, impressing the subconscious mind with this and thinking from it. Because that's when you make it real, is when you're thinking from it. Frequency. That's how you change it from thinking of to from. So I'll cover that a lot more because that's really good. I love this right here. Okay, so not the end of time that makes it natural. Okay, so let me read that again. It is the frequency, not the length of time, that makes it natural. That to which you constantly return constitutes your truest self. Frequent occupancy of the feeling of the wish fulfilled is the secret to success, or the secret of success. Okay, so frequent occupancy of the feeling of so imagining, affirming, scripting frequently, persisting frequently of your wish fulfilled is the secret of success, secret of getting what you want. Frequent reiteration of your wish fulfilled, imagination, scripting, affirming all day, all night, falling asleep with it, until you get it, until it happens. All right, I love that. Okay, so that's the end of this chapter. Next, we have case histories. All right, leave a comment if you guys want me to cover these case histories, and I will do that as well. We'll start these ones immediately. Okay, so let's go back over this one more time. Okay, so basically what we're covering here is persistency. And Neville Goddard is saying persist in it until it comes into your reality. Persist in it. So affirm, script, visualize, mentally rehearse every day, all day, before you go to sleep, as much as you possibly can, as frequently as you can, until it happens. Until it happens, and especially if it's a bigger thing. You're trying to 100x your income. You're trying to 100x your income. Persist in it until it happens. Persist. Don't just do it for one night or two nights and then be like, oh, I'm not making $100 million in a year right now, so I'm going to give up. Don't do that. Persist in it. And also, I want to take you back to this point that what we extracted here was very important about changing from thinking of it to thinking from it. So that is when you imagine it frequently. So when you're visualizing, and at first you may be thinking of it and you're trying to think from it, you're trying to get in the scene, and it's a little bit difficult. So if you continue to do this, you keep doing it, you change from thinking of it to from it, and that comes from frequency and persistence. All right, guys, so I love you guys very much, and I know you enjoyed this video, and don't forget to give me one thing you guys are grateful for, and leave that comment. I'll cover these case histories and break these down for you as well in the coming videos. I love you guys, and I'll see you guys in the next video.
Into fact. So you learn to assume and learn to persist in the assumption, and it will come to pass.